this little thing, the white square.
It should be on your face.
It is, and it keeps blinking. That's okay?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome back to another episode of The Unlikely Podcasters. And here we are. If we could.
Sniffed, fucker. Go ahead.
For those of you, wait, let's back to straight up.
Okay. We've just started. How can the
Shut
train
up.
be anywhere?
You said if we can't finish our thought, to pause and start over.
Yeah, but you're backing trains up.
Okay, well, I'm just fucking go along. Welcome back to another episode of The Unlikely Podcasters. For those of you that haven't visited our podcast before, my name is Sunshine.
I'm Susanna.
I'm Tara.
And why can't I figure out what we're going to say?
And today we're talking about working from home. Yes.
Which we all do.
We all do.
And I've been working from home.
Yeah, you were the first of the three, right?
Well, yeah, because my previous job, even before my current job, I was able to work from home when Asher was a baby.
Previous means before current. Like paid off.
Some redundancy.
So I was able to work from home, and then I changed careers, had to go into an office, and then I would say 5 years ago? 6 years ago, I switched to working from home. You just started.
It's very accusatory.
It is.
You
just started.
Did. Well, no. That's 4 years now.
Well, that's true.
That's not just started.
Well, it's all because of COVID.
And that's when you started. COVID too? Or were you before COVID?
That was way before.
Yeah.
Way before you.
Well,
I think because you traveled so
right.
much. It's
The
like
rest
you
of my
don't
time
view
was
it
at home.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought of you as an away worker. Like you remote worked at whatever location you had to fly to.
It's true. I did.
Yeah.
That's true. So from that aspect, yes. But I haven't had to go into an office since I did it briefly. Remember my commute to Chicago? That was when I didn't leave you. Let's just establish this. I did not leave you. I just commuted every Monday morning, and then I came home every Friday. But technically, I was in an office then.
Explain how you worked, what you did, so that people know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
So I worked for...
She was an escort.
Yeah, I made all the bucks. No. So it was finance accounting for restaurants in airports primarily for a large part of my career. So I would travel a lot to go to an airport, and then once I landed,
so would that
I would
be
work.
considered an office? Because you would go to an airport. Would that be in place of an office?
No, because I didn't really sit in an office a lot of the times when I visited a location. It was more, touring, helping, meetings, whatever it happened to be. Okay. And when I worked from home, when I wasn't in a location, then I was at home. I didn't have to go into an office.
Yeah, okay.
So I think I've had experience maybe a little longer. It was more of a hybrid, I guess you would say then. Mm-hmm. Until full-time. No, I don't think I ever did full-time because there was always some sort of travel.
And now you work from home like traditional, like all three of us work from home and traditional at home.
I'm at home in the basement.
Yeah.
That's where we want to keep you, Tara.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole reason we could do that was because of COVID. Because prior to COVID, that was not an option.
Right. I don't know. You say it like COVID freed us or something. It's the way you made it sound. It's like,
well, I
COVID liberated us, or
I think a lot of things happened from COVID.
Well, I guess in a way.
I mean, the whole reason we moved to Colorado was
That's
because
true.
of COVID. We couldn't have done it if you weren't able to work from home.
It's true.
So, because we were confined to the Central Florida area because that's where you had worked.
That's right.
But then COVID happened, and somehow
I
they
think
figured
that
it out.
forced, yes, I think COVID forced a lot of people and companies to
Make adjustments.
to
make
work a way
adjustments.
that they didn't think they would be able to work.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we would have gotten there eventually, I think,
Maybe.
with the advances of technology, but it would have been more organic and it would have taken a lot longer.
Well,
I think.
for my company, I think it's been around for back when you were like did things the old fashioned way. But for for the rest of the people, many people in my industry worked from home.
Why don't you tell everybody what your industry is? Because we had to explain Susanna's and now.
So I'm an audio engineer for TV, radio. We do voiceover. So I record voiceover, edit voiceover. So a lot of times, well, every day I have to connect to my talent, but I connect to them virtually as well as my client. Even when I was in the studio, I mean, back when I first started, clients would come into the office, talent would come in, but then, they can set up a booth in their closet and they can connect to us via software and they don't have to leave their house. And then the clients are like, well, I don't want to travel, go into the studio. So they would just call in the phone or through other things. So we were already working kind of remotely, except for the three of us who worked in the studio. There was a certain whatever about being in a studio as opposed to being in your basement. But that's kind of all over now. We're all going home. Everybody, the studio's gone now and everybody's
And it
home.
all started with Chicago. We decided we wanted to.
Asher wanted to see snow.
Right. Asher wanted to see snow. So me and my frugal self went online and I tried to find some cold area where I could get a cheap flight. And it was like $49 to go to Chicago. And then COVID happened and Chicago was the first city to shut down. We even got to change our flight for free because everybody was freaking out and they wanted people off of the planes. And so they said, if you have a flight here, we changed it, a day early?
No, we were supposed to
The
leave
morning
it
of?
like at night, like 9 or something at night.
We
And
left
we said, well,
earlier.
let's leave it like 11, which was good because when we landed, they said, you guys are lucky because you're the last plane leaving this airport.
Yep.
Because 2 people in the tower had COVID.
Yep.
So they closed it down.
And then we came back and
And I had to quarantine.
Yep.
Because we
Gallivanting.
gallivanting around Chicago in our defense, because when I tell people that story, they're like, what do you mean you went on vacation during COVID? It was the very beginning of
Yes.
COVID. And it was, if you were under 50, you were healthy, you were perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't affect you.
Yep.
Every day we got back to the hotel, 3,000 dead, 4,000 dead. Everybody's affected. And we were like, oh, Jesus. So when we went to the restaurant, they're like, you're our last people because tomorrow, after today, we're no longer to have people in a restaurant. And then we left the next day.
Yeah. So because she quarantined, somehow they figured out a way for her to work from home.
Yep.
And then that just carried on. And at some point, you had the ability to do it full time.
First, I didn't like it. I didn't like it when it first happened. I didn't like it because I thought I wouldn't be able to do my job. I would have to do another job, which I did not like. So I was pissed, quite frankly. I was pissed. And it was weird being home with you during the day. And then the next thing you know, Asher's work. So we're all at home and it was very strange.
Yeah.
And, but then I got used to it.
You do.
Mhm.
It's an adjustment period in the beginning, always, because you're used to going to an office. You're used to having coworkers, whatever, having just that environment.
Yeah.
And you're accustomed. And I think your mind goes to that place. I'm going to work and this is what I'm going to do. And this is the setting for which I work. When I'm at home, I'm not working.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different setting. It's a different mindset. And
Mhm.
it takes a while to retrain.
And then I would hear her working. I would be upstairs and she was downstairs, but I would hear her talking and then I'd make fun of her because she has her meeting voice on, which is not her regular voice.
Some people just can't do it. I've had many when COVID happened, my position was a work from home position prior to COVID, but then the rest of my organization sent everybody home. And quite a few of those people that went home said they quit because they just couldn't do it. They're like, I cannot sit in a house by myself without the interaction, without the social connection you build with people in an office. And so some people, they just can't focus. They can't separate home. Like you were saying, you have to keep everything is separate and it's a different mindset. Me personally, I have to keep a separate workspace.
But I think that's recommended.
I think it is. Yeah, I agree. But there are some people, like I have a couple employees, if I hire someone, I ask them, do you have a dedicated space at home where you can do this, where you can get on a call, that your internet is secure, or not secure, but reliable.
Right.
But then people that I inherit as employees, I can't discern that. I can't make that recommendation or request or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I have a couple employees where I could see, if we're on a Zoom call, they're on the couch or they're sitting at their kitchen table. And
Well, are they
that's the thing.
alone in their house?
I don't know. They're alone for at least the Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
And so I sit there and I tell myself, as long as they're doing their job, what do I care? It's a personal preference for me.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I like to have a separate space. Even if I'm sick or when I had surgery on my foot, I had to work from the couch. I'm very discombobulated. I can't do it. I don't have all my things. I don't have my monitors. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
And so it's a block for me when I see someone chilling out on their couch or at a kitchen table. And I will flat out ask, why are you on your couch? Don't you have a dedicated space? Yes, I do, but this is more comfortable.
But you just said if they were doing their job, what does it matter?
And that's why I have to turn that off. I ask the question, and if there's nothing wrong with their work, I can't enforce it or because it's not part of the job description. I get that. But it's certainly something in my own head I have to reconcile. I guess because I can't do it. Perhaps. If I can't do it, then I think nobody else can.
I think initially I struggled when I didn't have a dedicated office space. And if I don't have a dedicated work area, then it's harder to turn it off and like shut down for the night. I think that's another struggle, especially initially when you start working a job from home.
Yeah. You think, oh, well, I'm right here in my house. I can just another 10, 20, 30
and then
minutes.
It's 2 hours later. Yes. You have to be able to that's why I think a dedicated space is important. Though for some people, maybe it's just I shut down my laptop and I'm done. And that's perfectly fine. Me, I just get up and I walk away from my desk and I'm done and I don't go back. Because initially I worked probably more at home than I did in an office, right?
A lot of people say that, yeah.
Initially, and then I tapered it off and I got a better balance because, when you're in an office, you're like, well, I have to be there by a certain time. I want to leave by a certain time. So it's easier to just walk away.
Yeah. Because you also have the commute and I got to drive here. I got to go home. I got to pick up the kids. I got to get dinner. I got to do whatever.
Yes, you're planning for all of that. And then, but when you're working from home, I got to walk 30 seconds to get upstairs. There's no commute.
And then even from working from home, they made it after COVID. A lot of organizations made a concerted effort to get all of the employees what they need to do their stuff from home. So prior to COVID, I just had my laptop. That's all I had. I had my laptop, I had my mouse. I had an external keyboard, which I purchased. I had an external monitor, which I purchased. Then COVID happened. And now all of a sudden, everybody and their grandma got all the things that they need. They got their multiple monitors, their mice, mice, I said mice, and their headsets and all the things.
And how does that make you feel?
Listen.
Well, you got monitors.
After the fact, but I had already purchased my own the first time. It just so happened I've been with my organization for 14 years, so, stuff goes bad or whatever. Yeah. So, yes, the second round, I think it was the third round, I got a third laptop and everything. And then once COVID happened, I did request all the same things that everybody else got. But prior to that, that wasn't anybody's concern. Oh, you work from home? You're lucky.
You figure it out, yeah.
Yeah, you figure it out. Exactly. And so working with the multiple monitors is much easier than working on that tiny little laptop. Like you traveled so much. You would work from a hotel, work from the airport, work from the air.
And I still carried an extra monitor. I'll have you know. I had one of those really thin ones that plugged in because, as doing accounting and finance, I need 2 monitors. At home, I had my laptop and then I had 2 monitors. So my laptop was just for email. And then I did the rest of my work, because spreadsheets, whatever. I needed that. Yeah. But so if I was going to be for short trips, no, I did not pack it. But if we were doing a meeting or if we were doing budgets or, we were going to be there for the whole week, I took my little extra monitor and it was awesome. You get used to also working with that particular space
setup,
and that setup. And it's very hard to focus on a little monitor.
Yeah, I don't think I could work on a laptop. I can't imagine editing. I see people edit just using the trackpad on the laptop.
No.
And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
I don't understand that. At least get another mouse but just moving your
Yeah.
finger around like that?
Yeah. Well, see, for your job, you can't really travel.
I could, actually.
Oh, you can?
If they call it the fort. So if you go to a hotel and you get blankets and you just basically encase yourself in a blanket and pillow fort, as long as it's quiet, I could put on headphones. And if I had internet would be the biggest thing. I would have to have like a business room internet.
Yeah.
Um,
You have to upgrade.
but yeah, people do it.
So how would you work though? What?
I would have to put headphones on.
I get that part, but you would just do it all on a laptop?
Yeah, you just do it on a laptop.
Because I feel like you have 1,800 monitors
Well,
here.
only one of those is work. The other two are
Oh.
mine. That's
Oh.
personal. That's work. If I had a second office,
Oh my gosh, here we go.
my unmasculine office, I could, I would have two monitors because now I mean, it's a curved and it's a decent size, but I have to strategically place each thing so that I can read the script, watch where my talent is here, watch where my client, fucking shit up, watch where they are here. And when I was at the office, I had my editing system here and all that other stuff existed over here. So now it's all kind of crammed into.
So why don't you have a second monitor here?
Because I mean, look, already I feel like it's cramped already for me,
Yes, but it's because you have two for your personal.
which I use.
Hmm.
Where do you think this magic happens on?
And you can't switch back and forth? Don't give me that face. That's that face of motherfucker. Why are you asking me that
I
question?
don't want to.
Oh,
How about that?
Yeah.
You're reading into my looks aggressively. I was
know.
thinking of how I wanted to gently tell you I don't want
Gently.
to. Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But what I was trying to say was like it's a little bit easier, and it was easier for you to travel, and it's
Mhm.
easier for me that I can if I have to. Obviously, it's not my preference, and I don't like it, but I could work from anywhere really.
Mhm.
As long as I had an internet connection, I could still do the same things that I do every day.
And
Or-
do you miss the social?
No.
Okay. Well, so you were probably in the same boat. You had a lot of meetings, but there are people who don't
Yes.
work that. I'm the same way. I'm talking to multiple people every day. I am constantly talking to people. You were on meeting after meeting after meeting.
Yes.
I don't know how many meetings you have, but she has a lot of meetings.
It depended. But no, I don't think I had. But I was on the phone a lot,
Yeah.
right? Because depending, I had 12, anywhere from 5 to 30 locations. So
Mm.
all of those people called me. So
Yeah.
I think that was probably but it wouldn't have mattered if I was in an office or not for that anyway, because,
She
sometimes
still
at
would have
the
been
end
on
of
the
the
phone.
day, I'd have been like, I don't want to talk to anybody.
So I guess if you're one of those people who doesn't have that, doesn't have to be on the phone with someone or connecting to people via Zoom or meetings. I don't know. I still don't think it would bother me, really. But I guess some people.
Yeah,
would
plenty of
feel
people.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even one of my own employees, she says, I just need connection. Can I go into the office today? Into one of our offices. And I'm like, sure, go ahead. She's like, I just need to see people. Because she doesn't. She talks to students but it's not like on a regular basis. She doesn't have nearly as many meetings as
Mhm.
I do. And she talks to us, me and her immediate coworkers, and that's it. And she's like, sometimes I just need more. And she just goes in.
I think it depends on the environment. I mean, when I first moved back to Orlando, I did miss the office, particularly, I guess maybe especially around the holidays when they were just,
Oh.
you did more stuff and it was just a little more relaxed in the office because there was all these other things going on. And, there was, if you have people reporting to you, it's like, oh, I could take them to lunch. You could, do other things and interact, I think, better. But if the office environment isn't there, like when I worked at corporate,
Mm-hmm.
no fucking way would I ever want to go back to that. No,
Mm-hmm.
because it was just a very much everybody for themselves environment, and fuck it, I'll just stay home. I don't need that
Yeah.
shit in my life. So I think factors in. If you can have good relationships, good people to work with, and you don't have to deal with all the bullshit,
Yeah.
then I could do it.
We spend most of our time at work. I mean, that's how all three of us
Yeah.
met.
Yeah.
And I met you at work. We met you at work. I mean, that's how you, as an adult, that's how you get some of your friends. And so I don't regret having to go. A lot of my close friends, or a lot of my friends in general, are from work. I don't have really very many outside of work.
Me either.
But then there's these people
These people.
that take advantage. And like, I had an employee previously. Stuff wasn't getting done. And so I asked, what's going on? Her response was, I am working from home and I just got a new puppy. And so I spend a lot of time with my puppy. Why would you tell your boss that?
I don't
Why
know.
would you tell your boss that you are choosing to take care of the dog instead of doing your work? And so there's some people, they think it's like a free-for-all. You'll see people with their children. And we even had an interview not that long ago, and the woman pops on with their baby. Come on. To me, it's just like, it's still an interview. I don't care if it's over Zoom. I don't
think
care if
that
it's virtual.
There's a comfortability about being in your house. And I think there should be a whole school for how to be on a Zoom call. Some people, it sounds like they're in some sort of cave. And then you've other, they're eating and the dogs are barking. And it's like this. And I know this is not their first Zoom.
Yeah.
For just 15 to 30 minutes, you can't find somewhere quiet
Right.
and not eat a sandwich or drink your coffee for 15 to 30 minutes.
I drink.
Okay.
I don't eat, but I drink.
I don't need to hear.
That's true.
Because
it's only because you drink. You go.
Yes, but I don't do it on a Zoom call.
It's true.
I'm not talking to somebody with other people.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be listening to somebody read copy
Yeah.
that you wrote that you want to make sure sounds good. Meanwhile, I mute them to the talent so the talent doesn't hear the chaos, but I can hear it.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I'm like, and
Come
what
on.
about the other people on the call? They don't want to hear you either.
Yeah.
So I think there should be some sort of, you have to graduate from a Zoom school before you're allowed to get on a Zoom meeting.
Then you're going down the rabbit hole of, okay, although I did reply to all. Okay.
Yeah.
There's
Same.
like, you need a class for just email etiquette, and then you
Yeah.
need a class for just conference calls. If
Yeah.
there's, those drinking shot games are a deal. Like if somebody says, can somebody please mute your phone, please? I can hear your background. Can somebody, every conference call we had was always.
And some people are so loud,
Mm-hmm.
and the other people, and I'm like, one is screaming, one I can barely hear. They're all coming in on the same channel, so I can't lower one and raise the other one.
Right.
So I'm constantly up and down. This one's talking, I'm turning her up. Oh, this one's talking. He's screaming. Let me turn that down. It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
It's really not that
Well,
complicated.
you know why? Because some people use an they call in for I'm saying for any kind of Zoom call or Teams meeting or something like that. I don't think there's very many people that do just conference calls anymore. I think that there's a lot of them have either switched to a Teams video call. And so some of them will just dial in or connect right from their laptop. And so in my opinion, those people are much lower unless they can plug their headset right into the laptop and then you have the speaker and it works nicely.
And they're inexpensive. You can get cheap ones that plug right in. They're not difficult. So why are you not doing that?
It's true.
And then put your sandwich down.
But I'm hungry.
I've had
This is
7
the only
meetings
time
today.
I have
That's
to
right.
eat.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. Cut me some
Then
slack.
mute yourself. Give your
Well,
comments and
listen.
then mute yourself.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of mute.
Yeah.
But even on the video calls, like mute everybody at the beginning of the call. So you wouldn't hear anything,
Yes.
which is great.
Yes.
And they could get across. But when they opened it up to questions, you still encountered every
Oh
other
my gosh.
issue that
Yeah.
you always
Yeah.
did before video calls. It's just,
Yeah.
I just always muted it. I'm like, I don't.
How do you not get on a call and know what the etiquette is? Okay, I'm going to mute myself. If I'm going to be on video, I'm going to make sure it's an okay video. I'm not going to be wherever with the background if you have to blur your background. What? Just come on. Come on. But then I hear people like they take naps because they work from home. They have their children home from school. And I'm not talking about the times where, okay, my kid is sick. I understand.
Yeah.
Whatever, shit happens. But if you go into an office, you will purposefully get daycare or have some sort of backup for your children. These people, they're like, well, I work from home. My kids can just stay home.
And they're young kids?
Yeah, young kids. Again, when I'm doing interviews, I'm saying, "Hey, do you have childcare? Do you have a place you can work?" It's still a job.
Yeah.
You're still getting paid to do something for an organization. And these people just think, "Oh, well, I can just have my kids here, hang out, do whatever." It doesn't dawn on them at all.
I recently interviewed for a job. Well, not recently, but that was one of their questions. Like, do you realize this is like 9 to 5? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've worked from home for years.
Yeah.
I get that I still have to kind of clock in and clock out, and I'm expected to be available
Yeah.
during, whatever those work hours
Yeah.
are for the clients or for whomever. But yes, I do. Apparently that's an issue when they've
should
hired people.
go back and you also realize that it's 9 to 5 because sometimes
Yeah.
they're like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
well, you're home.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. And especially for me, because so I work Eastern time, but I live in Mountain time. My company uses from 9 to 6. I work from 7.
Eastern.
Yeah, 9 to 6 Eastern. I work 7 to 4 Mountain. And so if there's a late session, oh, well, Tara's home and it's only 4:30 for her as opposed to 6:30 for someone else.
Mhm.
But now they're all home. There's another motherfucker home now too. Why don't you ring him up on a Saturday or a Sunday?
Speaking of time zones, so I'm the same. I still work Eastern, even though we live in Mountain, and I kind of like it. I like,
Yeah.
you know,
Get a good
technically,
nap in when you come upstairs at 4 o'clock.
yeah, 4 o'clock. Like you're
Wake up just in time for dinner.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there are times where I have to work late. I get that totally, but the ability. Let's say it's somebody's birthday and we're going to dinner. I can do a reservation at 5 o'clock and not
Yeah.
have to worry that I have to get off work early or whatever. But then there's some people. It kind of makes it difficult because I work 9 to 6 Eastern, so I'm supposed to be at work at 7. And it's perfectly fine. I don't care if I have a meeting at 7 or at 7:30. Yes, it's annoying that the first thing I got to do in the morning is to get on a meeting.
Yeah.
But whatever, it is what it is. There are some people that live in a different time zone and they get frustrated that calls are set during an early time for them. So it would be like me getting mad that I have a meeting at 7:30.
At 7, yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, okay, it's 7:30, but I'm still working this schedule.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you just do it and you keep it moving. And so I don't understand that mentality when people say, "Oh, but it's only 7:30 for me." Okay, but isn't your schedule 7 to 4?
Yeah.
But it isn't for everybody.
I'm talking about the people that it is.
Okay. Well, it is. Yeah. Because, I mean,
Some people do work mountain or whatever.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and so
They're
then
not
if you're
getting up at
having
7.
yeah. So so then if the people on the East Coast make that,
yes.
early, then everybody has to get up or
Right.
everybody has to stay late because they didn't pick a time that kind of worked for
In the-
Yeah, because always being an East Coast company, and we have clients who are West Coast, and it was like, especially like just before the holiday, we're gonna get off early. Somebody from the West Coast calls.
Mhm.
Can I get a session at 3 o'clock Pacific time? I'm like, no, because that's 6 o'clock my time, and I'm going to be gone from there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think they should be a little more considerate on the West Coast.
Yeah.
If you're working with an East Coast company,
You have a
realize
window.
that
Work
Yeah.
within the window.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
we close at 6, so you know that if you want to work with us, then you work before that time.
Mhm.
But to them, oh, and if we go long, yeah,
There's no big deal.
It's 5 o'clock for you, but it's
Mhm.
8 o'clock for me.
I feel like when I left a campus, I worked way more in my 8 to 10 hour day than I did when I was at campus because there were so many stinking distractions. So many distractions,
Mhm.
not only with coworkers, but if students came in
Mhm.
and you just don't get as many when you're working from home and you have a dedicated whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like as long as you have a person that takes their job seriously, meaning that they're gonna be responsible. They're gonna get up, they're gonna work their 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever it is, and they're gonna do the work. You're gonna get more work out of somebody working from home than you would in an office.
You are going to have the exceptions.
Yeah.
But like I said, you get those in the office anyway. You get
Yeah.
the people who are just going to slack or find other ways to
Mm-hmm.
kill time.
Amuse
And I get
themselves.
yeah.
What do you think about people that like watch TV while they're working?
If you can do it, I don't care.
While you're working,
While you're working.
I can't do that,
Right.
obviously. But I mean, I don't see unless it's interfering with your work. What does it matter?
Yeah. But then,
But we know I couldn't personally do that.
no,
There is
you
no
get
way.
sucked in.
Yeah, I'd be like, what's going to happen? Music, not so much.
hmm
See, to me, that's the opposite. If I hear music, then I'm thinking,
oh no,
I hear the music. And then
No, because
it
I'll be,
just-
well, if I'm alone and Sunshine's not in the room, then I can sing along and do whatever I want. If Sunshine's around, I got to shut the fuck up.
oh my gosh. Now, people, let's back this train up.
Oh, you and
Okay,
your train.
we're gonna rewind.
There's
because-
no rewinding.
This fucker just made a comment. Yeah, that's right. Choke on that water, bitch. This fucker just made a comment because before I went remote, I worked in a small office. It was just me, a very tiny office. And this bitch worked from home. So she would come in and we would work in the same room together, same office. She would just work from the office. And I don't even know what happened.
I think it was at our house, wasn't it?
No, it was when she was
it
working.
it was
Oh,
with
I thought that was when you came to
that
our
building.
house once.
No.
And you were working at the table, and she said you were singing. I think that then it must
Well,
have been
I'm sure
twice.
that happened. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure it
'cause
happened
that's
more
the
than
time
once.
I remember her
Yes.
mentioning you singing,
See?
yes.
So it was more than once. Take that. Take that. Ah.
Tell me what happened because I
Move
mean
this train forward. Move it
no,
forward.
I need you to explain to the listener what happened because I need to be refreshed.
We were working in that building off of,
Cimarron.
Yeah.
hmm
so you said I could come in because you were there by yourself.
Yeah.
You said, yeah, you can just come in. So I was there. Sunshine likes to listen to the radio all day.
All day. And in all honesty, I need something. I cannot, like you just said, with background or whatever. I do not liking. Do not.
I do not like it.
I do not liking.
Always has blue, and I
That's
do not
right.
liking it.
That's- yes, I do not like complete silence when I'm working.
I didn't go like every day. I would just whenever
Couple
I
days
could.
a week, yeah.
It was just a couple days a week. I think like on week 2 or something, she had to be like, well, I would really appreciate it if you didn't sing or hum along with the radio.
But I mean, we're already listening to the radio. I get and so if she's singing along. I'm like, what?
Oh, really? So if the radio's on, there should be no singing
Oh.
along.
Listen, that's in the vehicle, and oftentimes, and we are different people because if
So are we.
no, if you would have said, Sunshine, it really annoys me that you sing in the car. I wouldn't sing in the fucking car, but you doesn't bother you. It bothered me that she did that.
All right, so let's get back on track.
Yeah. So what else? What crazy stories have you heard about people? Oh, I know one
Ooh.
about people working. They'll have multiple jobs. That too. Multiple full-time jobs.
Oh,
I
really?
couldn't.
Yeah. They'll multitask and have 2 full-time jobs working from home.
That's insane.
We've even had people at my organization do that, and we've caught
How
them.
have you caught them?
Why does it
Social
it
media.
matter? If
If
they're
you're
getting
not
your work
noticing-
done, what does it matter?
There are some industries that you sign like a non-compete and stuff like
Mm,
that, and so
okay,
you get
fine.
into a little areas there. But if for some reason, first of all, hardly any employer will view it as long as you get your work done, it doesn't matter. If I'm paying you for a full-time job and another company is paying you for a full-time job, to me that's unethical.
But if you're
I
meeting
don't think that's
both
unethical
requirements,
because I think
I think if one is at night and one is during the day, because otherwise you're distracted.
who says I'm distracted though?
exactly.
Who says I
Who
can't
sa-
do
it-
both?
What if it's just a totally different? It's a no brainer kind of job.
Yeah.
If I'm hired for a job to work 8 hours a day and I do these many things, you're saying that it's perfectly fine for them to spend half the time doing these many things and half the time getting paid by someone else to focus on their things.
If they've finished all of the things that were required of all of their tasks for this job, they've done them, and now they have this time, and there's no more work to be done on the main job, then yes.
I see what
I don't
you're
see-
saying.
I don't see anybody ever doing that.
Maybe the way we view work needs to change a little bit. And maybe you just say, look, I am paying you X amount a week for this to be done.
Right.
And that's fine. And again,
But
then you're
the
setting
only
it up that
difference-
way.
Yes, true. But the only difference is you've decided that should take 8 hours.
No.
Yes.
That's not what I'm saying. If I'm paying you hourly and you're only giving me 4 hours of work, I'm only going to pay you 4 motherfucking hours.
So
That is what it should
so
be.
when we worked at McDonald's, when it was slow and we were just hanging out, you should have been not paid for that time because you weren't working.
No,
You
because
were
I
just
had
standing
to
around
be
eating
there.
chicken
No,
nuggets
part
and
of
French
the-
fries.
No, part of the job was when people walked into the McDonald's.
Right. And so part of their job is they need to be, if you all of a sudden they finish their job and then something else comes in. Oh, hey, I need you to take this. Okay, great. They're there
Yeah,
to do
they're
that.
still there.
It's the same thing.
They just did their job in 4.
They
I just don't.
finished.
If it's not interfering and they're still available for the 8 hours a day and they finish
But
their
they're
job
not.
at
This
6,
is what I'm saying. That is my whole point. There is no possible way that you can be readily available if you're splitting your time between 2
That's not
full-time
true.
jobs.
That's not true. It depends on if it's a job that requires them to be on a phone or answer immediately.
Yes.
But if they're like they get an email
Okay.
in, this is a request. Okay, great. I see that. I'm gonna finish this job, which blah 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 blah. Now I'm done. Now I'm gonna work on that. Something come in. Okay, I can hop back on that. Easy breezy.
No.
It's completely
I think you're
possible.
also you're
No.
making an assumption that it's going to take that they're equally splitting that time, and it could just be, hey, I finished
I
in
work on
6
this when
hours.
I'm not working on that.
And then I'm still staying 2 hours later on this end to finish the other job, not your job, the other job. You don't know where that time frame comes. You're just assuming, hey, they're robbing us.
Based on what you all said, if I'm given this amount of work and
Mhm.
I get it done in 6, I'm not going to pay somebody 8. Get it done in 6, move on to your next job then. Don't pay me. I'm not going to pay for 8 so you can spend 2 of the hours working for some other dude. Doesn't make sense
No,
to
I'll
me.
just make it work for the 8, and then you'll give me my 8, and then I'll get the
Yeah.
other dude.
Yeah, outside of the 8 hours you're working for me. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, sunshine.
I'm saying I'm going to give you 40 hours a week, and I expect you to fill up your time with my work for 40 hours per week. I am not paying you to do someone else's work.
And you're not. You're paying them to do your work.
You are. They're getting paid to do somebody else's work. You're
By
not paying
somebody
them.
else. You're not paying them to do
Well,
somebody
then I
else.
will give them something else to do.
They're great.
But if you don't have anything, if there is nothing,
But this is what I'm telling you, that most of these people, they are letting other things go, in my experience, versus doing their other thing.
okay, then that's
That's-
yes.
Well, that's
I-
where I was going when this started.
But
and
you were
guys
just saying
jumped out
that
my
you were
freaking mouth.
making it like a blanket statement that everyone who does
If
that.
you're being paid, you should dedicate your time to that thing. Yes. Look at you, willy-nilly paying people for doing other shit.
No, I'm paying them to do the shit I hired them for.
And then
If
some.
they can squeeze another shit on their side, then that's not my business.
It's none of your business.
If you do what I want, that's all I care about.
Mm-hmm.
You're old school.
All right. So that's our episode this week. Feel free to leave comments. Tell me how wrong I am and how we should rethink our work scenarios. And that's all I got, ladies.
Okay, great.
Peace out.
Adios.